Bad Influence, Series 2, Episode 9, aired on the 4th of November 1993, 24 years and 1 day ago. As usual, the episode was filled with reviews, previews and cheats, but one thing which caught my attention was this fireworks simulator demonstrated by Andy Crane on the PC. It's not something which I would find useful at all through my life, unless I get a job as a fireworks technician in the next few years, but it was just very cool. Having the freedom to set up firework displays willy-nilly and see what they look like, I'll have some of that please.
And then if you just select that and click on beginning, the computer will show you what it looks like. Ooh.
Now, I'm not entirely sure which program Andy was using here, but I thought we could spend the next few minutes taking a look at a couple of vintage firework programs, and then maybe try and recreate Andy's incredible display.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Bad Influence fireworks display. Spectacular, I'm sure you'll agree. Small but perfectly formed.
Let's start in 1987 on Microsoft DOS with Pyro by KG Shields. The accompanying README tells us that Pyro utilises the power of an IBM AT compatible and the colour graphics capability of an EGA display to produce a realistic simulation of a pyrotechnics display. Now, this isn't a programmable simulator as such. Written in Turbo C, it's really just a demo which whips through various fireworks effects such as spurt fill, flare fade, burst sound, rocket and Roman candle. But back in 1987 I would have been more than impressed, especially on an EGA card. On a 486 it runs incredibly fast, it's far more suited to a 286 machine. Along a similar vein is Sparkwood, created by Nicholas Centani and released in 1996. This time we've stepped up to VGA graphics, and this is much more suited for 386 and above machines. It's written in Ball and C++ and makes use of the XYZ 3D library to create some pretty impressive effects. What's more, we get a few options we can play around with to enjoy the full 3D effect. As Nicholas himself puts it, Sparkwood is the first true 3D virtual reality simulation of a fireworks exhibition. The simulation is surprisingly realistic, taking into account the forces of gravity, inertia and air resistance. But still, I haven't got the freedom of creating my own display. Well, that's where Fireworks Simulator, developed by Reality Twist GmbH, comes into play. Released in November 2014 and published by Rondom Media GmbH, this should offer me all the fireworks excitement I was hoping for back in 1993, but with the power of modern day technology. As I'm new to this, trying to recreate Andy's original display seems pretty straightforward. It'll be amazing to witness it in high definition glory, right? Just as it would have appeared to my blissfully ignorant eyes back in the 90s. So we get a choice of locations to host our display, of which I'm going to go for Olympia Park. Now we've got a choice of fireworks, including various rockets, but we'll need to stick to a ground display for the Bad Influence Spectacular. The problem I found, however, was that basic fireworks like Catherine wheels and this suspended thing that Andy uses simply aren't available in Fireworks Simulator. Not that I could see anyway. We've got a lot of vertical spurting type spectacles, however, so we'll have to make do. For the bulk of the display, I've opted to use these silver Vulcans, which I'll be placing in a line to create something vaguely similar to the original. There we go. From the safety of the water edge, it looks rather pleasing. Next up, I reckon a couple of silver falling stars can take the place of these side flames, so let's plonk those on the front platform. You can also then sequence all these fireworks to create perfect timing, but in the original they all seem to go off pretty much straight away. So if we plonk those there, then we get this effect, which is nothing really like the original, but as close as I can manage with these tools. I'm just going to plonk a rainbow comet at the back there to pad it out, and then a couple of golden Vulcans because that's all I have, And voila! This is my interpretation of Andy's original on-the-fly display using Fireworks Simulator. Of course, if you put time and effort, then you can create something pretty impressive, such as this. Although I'm still not forgiving the lack of Catherine wheels. Even still, it's not as impressive as this original creation was to my eye. They even linked up real fireworks to it at the end of the show and ran the whole thing from the computer, which was tremendous. But frankly, it looks better on screen than in reality, to me at least. Anyway, that's enough fireworks shenanigans for this year. I've managed to create an entire display without even leaving the house. I don't really think that I can top that. Remember, never go back to lit fireworks, kids, and have a safe bonfire night.